Welcome everyone to this exciting Join Dota League game between Zephyr and Arcanys. Pander here, and this is shaping up to be an incredibly interesting game, as two teams have picked a very aggressive mid-game lineups already. Arcanys with the Naga, Siren, Shadow Demon, Wraith King, meaning we're going to see a lot of aggression out of them, as Shadow Demon, Wraith King is a great aggressive combo. Naga Siren wants to play a bit more defensive and split push, but generally when you pick up Naga Siren, you have a great kind of four-man roaming squad that loves to get into action and buy space for the Naga. Well, Zephyr have already picked up some of the most aggressive heroes in the game. Mirana, Shadow Fiend, and Rubick all wanting to get in on the action early. Mirana with her arrow, Shadow Fiend just going to burst down that mid lane, and Rubick with the ability to lift and burst down pretty much anyone. Should be a really exciting matchup so far. Shadow Fiend versus Naga Siren in the mid lane should go pretty well in Shadow Fiend's favor. As long as he goes and picks up a bottle early, he should be just fine once the first few waves clear and his advantage is kind of equalized, as he has the ability to just nuke down the waves and then proceed in the jungle. He is dire side, so that does weaken his ability to jungle a little bit, but if he just raises down the waves and bottle crows, Naga Siren can't rotate into the jungle and take that free farm that she loves to do, which lets her pick up the early radiances, assuming that's the path she goes. Clockwork can be picked up here for Zephyr, which means great setup for the Shadow Fiend Mirana combo, as they could easily lock someone in and just let the Requiem of Souls go. Same thing with Arrow. It's very hard to dodge an arrow in the Clockwork Hogs, especially once he's hammering you down.
10 seconds remaining.
Shadow and Wraith King are in a kind of an interesting spot, as we don't know if Wraith King is going to be a support. So it's a decent combo if he is a support, as Shadow Demon sets up Wraith King pretty well, as they can just get a nice block and a very good stun to follow, letting all the illusions do some great damage. And that means Wraith King, with the pickup of this Jakiro, is going to be in the position of carry, which means we're likely going to see Shadow Demon, Jakiro, Wraith King in the bottom lane, meaning very high kill potential. You set it up with the Shadow Demon, follow it up with a nice ice path and burn from Jakiro, and Wraith King with just chopping away and getting another stun. That's just a ridiculous amount of crowd control early on. And I'd be very worried if I were Zephyr running a tri-lane. And they should with the Mirana Rubick, but it's going to be incredibly difficult. And the last bands out of Centaur and Visage. I like these two bands, as Arcanys has a pretty much free lane up top if Zephyr decide to run aggressive, and I see no reason for them not to. So Clockwork against Centaur. Centaur is pretty heavily favored. Nature's Prophet would be a good choice. Weaver would also be a good choice for Arcanys. Zephyr needs another support here. With Visage banned out, they also have Sand King and Dazzle banned out. Ancient Apparition banned out as well. A lot of support bans so far.
5 seconds.
Do we see the return of Lashrak? He'd be a pretty decent option here. They already have great setup with the Rubick. It'd be a nice follow-up with Mirana and good harassment, just to make sure Arcanys is weak enough that they never want to really commit. I think he'd be the optimal choice here. And they throw a curveball in it, going Ogre. It works. It's another nice stun, good slow. That's a lot of crowd control coming out of that lane from Zephyr. And I'd be very worried for Arcanys now. They have pretty much a chain stun of a good 6 to 7 seconds if everything works out well. So you're going to have to play incredibly careful. The only good thing they have is the disruption from Shadow Demon, just allowing them to kind of reset or make sure an arrow gets dodged if one does land. So it's not going to be terrible, but it's still very risky on both sides should an aggressive tri-lane come out. Arcanys looking for an offlaner, assuming they don't just mix it up and go offensive tri-lane in order to try and dodge, which would not be a terrible decision here, though they'd have to pick someone who basically works with zero farm if that were the situation. But I expect it's going to go 1v1 against Clockwork in the top lane. And with a 1v1 against Clockwork, you pick someone ranged, pick a nice farmer who can just sit there and split push and keep the lane pressured. As I said, Weaver or Nature's Prophet would be the optimal choice here. And they decided to go Nature's Prophet. This is a very good choice. It lets him roam around. Clockwork doesn't punish him particularly heavily, just due to the fact Clockwork doesn't push at any real speed, and he doesn't have the ability to roam as well as Nature's Prophet does. So this should be a pretty good win if Arcanys runs it how I think they will. And we'll see in just a moment how they actually run it but I fully suspect them to run a defensive tri-lane. On the side of Arcanys, Boke is going to run in the top lane. Henrik going to take the mid Naga Siren. Jobeasy going on the Jakiro. Kenneth on the Wraith King. And Platypus on the Shadow Demon. Zephyr, the crowd favorite, going to be running Eosin in the bottom lane on Clockwork. Sexy Bamboo on the Rubick. Orge playing the Ogre Magi. Blitz on the Shadow Fiend. And stand-in Jay on the Mirana. Interesting choice to actually run an aggressive tri-lane with a Clockwork. It's not a terrible choice. They have some very good setup and quality sustain damage. So it should work pretty well. But problem is they might get just harassed down by the Jakiro Shadow Demon walking in. Very aggressive move here by Sexy Bamboo, but he started boots. So he might be able to pick something. Though nope, no real chance. As that was a nice move to just play it very defensively, not play too greedy. Zephyr known for trying to get a lot done on their supports, and when it works, they look really good. But as of late, it has just not been in their favor, as they've gotten caught out a lot as they rotate in pretty often on all of their supports. Horn does sound, and it's going to be Nature's Prophet up against Mirana. Mirana does very well in that lane. She has enough damage to last it very well against Nature's Prophet. She doesn't harass him that well, but I don't think it's a big deal at all. They should be able to just continually trade, farm, and that definitely goes in Mirana's favor. Looks like there's a bit of action down here as Jobeasy is going to be picked up. Purge going to land a stun, and Sexy Bamboo going to town with those illusions. This should be an easy first blood on Jakiro, and there we go. First blood on Jakiro. Platypus in a lot of trouble as well, but there's still 7 seconds, so he should be able to get away. He does eat his way through the trees as Purge runs forward, trying to jump in on him. Platypus not going to be okay for now as he gets lifted up, thrown back, and Sexy Bamboo takes 2. And that was a very easy first blood and second blood as Sexy Bamboo looking solid this game, picking up 2 kills already. Looks like they might try and courier snipe at this point, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go for it. Though the courier doing the right thing, playing very safe, sitting back, and just making sure that Naga Siren gets her bottle. She went for an early bottle. Shadow Fiend did not, so it's not going to be an easy lane for him. That early bottle just critical. But Henrik going to be in a bit of trouble. But here are the supports for Arcanys. Right there, nice use of disruption to make sure the Fade Bolt doesn't come off early, and he doesn't even use it as Sexy Bamboo is taken out. Purge in a lot of trouble, might be giving up a second kill. Buck has rotated in and should be just fine, as he does help secure the kill. And throughout all of that, he doesn't lose a whole lot. He lost maybe 2 or 3 creeps, as Mirana really couldn't punish him for it. She doesn't have the point in Starstorm to push the wave, and the wave is already pushing heavily towards that tower. So big win on the side of Arcanys. Wraith King also got a bunch of free experience during that. Same with Clockwork, and he's going to be in a bit of trouble as he is jumped upon. Nice use of cogs to throw him out, but he's going to have to just kind of wait out the cogs or eat his way through as he decides to just kind of play games. He's in a lot of trouble. Nice stun. It comes in right on time. And with 40 HP left, Wraith King lives. Really shocking he lives. But looks like there's going to be a bit of engagement top. Purge with a nice slow. Good stun. Easy arrow. And this should be the death of Nature's Prophet. The question is who gets it, and it is Mirana. Jay taking a nice kill. Yosin going to be a bit of trouble, but nice cogs, keeping him safe. And so far, Zephyr in a bit of a lead. Though the problem it becomes, how are they going to stay in the lead? And Nature's Prophet is here, does go for the courier snipe. And they're going to work on Shadow Fiend as well. Naga Siren might go down, but the haste rune too strong. Shadow Fiend in a lot of trouble, and he does go down. Both gonna fall for his troubles, but completely worth. Giving all that experience to Naga Siren and denying Shadow Fiend a large number of souls. He's up to 7 now, but he had significantly more than that beforehand, and that greatly hurts his ability against Nagas. He really needs to just pick up a few souls and make sure that he can just last hit freely. He should be fine though, considering Naga had to run all the way back to base, but still just very risky overall. Zephyr going to try for an engagement up top, and I don't think they're going to be able to find Bach at this point. He's been playing very safe so far. Nice block with a tree and it's keeping Purge at bay, but it looks like they're going to continue in. Sexy Bamboo running in heavily, and it should be the death of Nature's Prophet unless he gets a beautiful sprout off, but in this case he does not get the opportunity to. Support's going to rotate in, but it's not going to be in time. The question is, will they get anything for it? Nature's Prophet by his back. He has his teleport available. Platypus in a lot of troubles. He's out of mana, and he does go down 2 for none so far. Though Shadow Fiend did fall in the process, as Naga Siren looks to solo him at some point. Purge is going to go down eventually, but he bought enough time for the rest of his team to escape. Mirana lives on basically 0 HP. The problem is Shadow Fiend dies again, giving Naga Siren even more gold. She's at a very high net worth so far. She had to buy a salve, which hurts it a little bit, but no big deal, as she already has the magic wand up, boots, and working her way towards what will likely be a drums in the mid game, which would be a great item for her. Just get the extra mana, get a little bit of extra farming power, and this has been a very nice game for Arcanys. They're down 1 kill, but they don't feel like they're down that much, as Blitz is going to be under a bit of trouble yet again. Ice Path lands, doesn't actually get the stun off it, but this should be another easy kill, as Blitz just can't get anything going this game, and that's really harmful for Zephyr's lineup, as they don't have any other carry that's that great. Mirana does decently well, and she's off to a fair start, even though she is behind the Rubick, just due to the fact Rubick's picked up 3 kills, including the first 2, and that's Sexy Bamboo doing his thing. The problem is they're on to support Rubick, and he's going to have to make something happen here. And they're doing the right thing on Zephyr here. They're keeping Purge towards the mid lane, making sure that Shadow Fiend's safe from ganks. And I think they almost have to keep someone just sitting back, possibly stacking the jungle when the wave is cleared, then running back towards the mid lane. And that looks to be what he's doing. Just stack, run to the mid lane, make sure Shadow Fiend doesn't lose any more. It looks like there's an engagement down bottom. You're in a lot of trouble, but the Mirana ultimate's there. Moonlight Shadow way too strong. Kenneth in a lot of trouble. He's about 2 creeps away from actually getting his ultimate, and he picks it up late. He just didn't have time to skill it. And this should be the death of Platypus as well, as he's just way too low. Though he's at 41, no, does not happen. Purge not able to get it off. Nature's Prophet going to throw out an ultimate to help kill Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. And while he is the second highest in terms of creep kills, that means nothing when you've died 4 times already. He's picked up 1 kill, so it's not a complete failure, but it's as close as you're going to get at this point, as this has just been miserable for Zephyr's mid laner. And at this point, I'd almost consider just rotating Shadow Fiend up top, as it looks like there's going to be a kill onto Nature's Prophet. His bulk goes down. Looks like Clockwork showed off his level 6 after he picked it up from the Wraith King kill. Mirana also level 7, and I'd just consider rotating Blitz up all the way top lane, getting the free farm. Nice stun there from the Jakiro. It looks like they're going to try and turn it around with the song. Platypus is here, but they really don't want to engage. They saw Purge on the high ground. No reason to go for that engagement, and a nice disengage. Naga should be just fine. She has her bottle. Doing the smart thing, dropping the items in order to get the maximum amount, and stealing all the consumables. Yosin going to come in, try and get something done, but no real chances. He doesn't have his hook up. If he had that hook up, it would have been a very easy kill. But he used it to kill top lane, and he won't have it for this mid lane engagement. He's still waiting, though. Really surprised he doesn't just rotate around and go for this kill on the Nature's Prophet. They've had to have seen him up here. And Sexy Bamboo is already raring to kill him at this point. He is going to be in a lot of trouble. Don't think he's getting out of this. And he dies yet again. Doesn't get his ultimate off. As Zephyr continues to do a good job. They're definitely doing good, other than the mid lane Shadow Fiend. As Blitz just hasn't had an opportunity to do a whole lot. He's been getting pretty much non-stop. Houston going to rotate down bottom, as there's 2 teleports in. They're going to try and stop the Wraith King and see if anything comes to this. I don't think they're going to be able to do a whole lot. But they should be okay, as Rubick does steal the Wraithfire Blast, giving him another big nuke. Purge is rotating in the mid lane as well, doing exactly what he needs to this game. Ensure that Blitz gets free farm at this point. He has to recover. He's pretty far behind. And it looks like Sexy Bambo might get caught out. Nature's Prophet is here and does take the kill, making sure that he's back on track. He hasn't had the best of games so far. As it looks like there might be another engagement on Eosin. Eosin taking a lot of damage. He's been slowed already. And with a Soul Catcher, easy kill as Jakiro picks it up with the auto attack. And this should be also another big push. Liquid Fire just rips apart the towers. And look how slow that tower attacks. It's practically one attack a minute at this point, as it does so little damage. And that was the big change in the last patch that made Jakiro just insanely powerful. His Liquid Fire is a 4-second cooldown and a 5-second duration, so you can keep it up pretty much 100% of the time if you just stand there and make sure you get Liquid Fires off at all opportunities. So far, this game is going in Arcanys' favor, just due to the fact that they have the Naga Siren, they have the Wraith King, and the Nature's Prophet, so they can do pretty much whatever they want late game. While Zephyr have to rely on a very strong Shadow Fiend and Mirana. Looks like Mirana's going to set up for a kill onto Nature's Prophet, but Nature's Prophet not falling for it again. Bach knows the minions are this far, no one's doing anything. And actually he does get hit, so he will go down. And his little idea of staying hidden didn't do anything. The creep trap just not good enough. As he figured if no one was there killing the creeps, they were going to be ganking him, and they were. Naga Siren has bottled up the haste and is not gone for the fast radiant, so she's looking more for a combat build. I don't mind this game just due to the fact she's going to have to survive against the Shadow Fiend and the Mirana throughout the entire mid game, and there's just a whole lot that can kill her if she goes for Radiance first. Smoke has been popped by Eosin. The question is, will he use it? And I don't think he's going to find an opening, especially not with Naga with a haste rune. He does actually throw it as someone went for the rune, and it will be Shadow Demon going down. Nice consolation prize. Eosin in a bit of trouble. Net flies, but Jakiro's already used his stun, and they aren't going to be able to kill him. Nice play. The bottom tower was taken out just a few moments ago, and it's going to be a big push onto the second tower. As soon as Jakiro gets here, this should be pretty free. Sexy Bambo in a lot of trouble. He does get netted up, and it's going to take a ton of damage, and ouch, she gets wrecked. Naga pops the wand, and she has enough for a song, if she so chooses. Nice use of the illusions to block in the Clockwork, meaning his cogs don't get a whole lot done. Wraith King going to go man-moding up against Eosin, and Kenneth is so strong at this point. He's going to have drums himself, and I think that's intentional to have two drums, as they're going to be kind of on opposite sides of the world. Wraith King going around as a 4-man group, while Nature's Prophet kind of teleports in, and Naga Siren does her thing, split pushing and just being generally annoying. Mirana's kept up pretty well with the Naga Siren so far. She's sitting at 5,200 gold. And that's going to be big. She's going for a Lincoln Sphere, though. I'm really not a fan of a Lincoln Sphere Mirana. She has to get more done in the mid-game. Going drums Aquila would be just significantly better, as we do have a bit of a pause, as I'm not sure who exactly DC'd. Looks like a spectator, maybe. Or they just need a second or two to compose themselves. Yeah, okay, yeah, it looks like they just needed a second or two. So we should be back and good to go. And this is going to be another big push by Arcanys. They just want to fight at the moment. It doesn't seem like they care that they've got a better late game. They said, we're going to push, we're going to push, we're going to secure the entire map and make sure our Naga Siren has the entire world to farm. And with a Jakiro and Wraith King, you might as well. Wraith King amazing at early pushing. He's gone for more points of Vampiric Aura, which means push, push, push. And the only reason you'd put more than 1 or 2 points in it, as we see Nature's Prophet fall yet again up top, just to a good gank, and the Moonlight Shadow pop by Mirana. It's the only reason you put more points into the Vampiric Aura than 1 is generally because you want to push. It doesn't. The crit doesn't do a whole lot for pushing. It's nice in combat, but it's not great. It's not reliable enough early game. Once you get later on, you get bigger attack speed. It becomes much more reliable and bigger damaging. So the Vampiric Aura is significantly better for these pushes. And Rubick stealing the Nature's Call. So Sexy Bambo will have the ability to just run in the jungle and pick up some extra farm. Though Naga Siren gonna catch someone out. Balk in the wrong spot again as he should go down. Thanks to a very nice multicast by the Orge. But Jay's in a lot of trouble. And Clockwork gonna turn this around. Yosin doing a very nice cogs off. Buyback by the Rubick and Sexy Bambo, a bit of a rage buyback, so he doesn't have a way into this engagement just yet. His teleport is on cooldown as he tried to use it to escape. And this is big as it's going to be another kill as Naga Siren picks up one, Shadow Demon picks up another, and this is just a big engagement overall. As there's just no real chance for Zephyr to win that fight. They didn't have their Shadow Fiend. Yes, he was pushing down bottom. He's going to be in a bit of trouble. He does get the tower, but the question is, yes, he's going to go down. No way you survive this if you're Shadow Fiend. But definitely worth it to pick up the tower. Though, actually, I'm not sure if it's worth it. As he doesn't have, he's not going to be back for 40 seconds. He could have picked up more gold just rotating around and clearing the jungle than he did from killing that tower. But I guess it's the map control that makes it worth it. So overall, pretty decent. Supports from Zephyr going to rotate in. The question is, will they find Nature's Prophet yet again? And Jay does see him. Sexy Bambo with the haste rune should be easy kill. And yeah, very easy kill. No real need to worry. His Nature's Prophet has been shut down fairly hard. He's gotten decent farm, but it's not enough, as he definitely needs to pick up a survivability item in this game. He's going Force Staff, which I don't hate. It's a good way to just move around the map. I would love to see a Shadow Blade, as it's one of the better items to pick up on a Nature's Prophet. It just requires Zephyr to constantly have dust to see him out. And they don't have any other stealth heroes this game, so he can easily just force tons of dust to be bought, and it'd be worth it every single time he dies. He burns 1 to 2 dusts. Wraith can be level 11 as soon as he's picked up his Blink Dagger. Shadow Demon picking up a lot of kills so far, sitting at 4, 3, and 5. Has already finished the mech. So this is very worrisome for Zephyr, as we're going to see a bit of an engagement. Shadow Demon caught out, and Wraith King shows off his Blink. Sexy Bambo, no real chance to survive, as the Shadow Poison kills him, and Shadow Demon stealing the kills. Platypus doing a great job of just finding these kills overall, as he's really just run in and thrown himself into these fights and not been killed too often. He's only died 3 times so far, compared to the Nature's Prophet, 9 deaths. Pretty much all the deaths on Arcanys are on him. While conversely, Rubick and Shadow Fiend are pretty much all the deaths on Zephyr, which is not good at all. Nice kill on the Shadow Fiend, and this should be Purge going down as well, as there's a Wraithfire Blast and the net. Easy kill as Shadow Demon steals another one, and the supports for Arcanys doing great work over the map, and Kenneth gets stuck again. Second time he's gotten stuck in the trees right near a tower, and this just shows a little bit of familiarity with the Blink on the Wraith King. You can't afford to get trapped too much, but it doesn't matter, as pretty much every time he's gotten trapped, it's been in a situation where he wasn't needed. But that could come to bite him in the ass later on if he blinks into a bad location. And Clockwork finds the Shadow Demon as they just jump him. Balk's going to come in, but I don't think this is the wise choice, as this should be a pretty easy kill. But no, Force Staff shown off. Arrow flies nowhere close. A nice use of the Force Staff to get out of that engagement. But still, Naga Siren with a 17-minute radiance and drums and magic wand. This is looking grim for Zephyr. The Shadow Fiend's in no place to contest. He's going to have a BKB. Wraithband treads at 20 minutes maybe, depending upon if he's left alone to survive or not. And the supports aren't anywhere close to their tanky items. A Sexy Bamboo gets practically killed by the Naga illusion, and will get killed by a neutral. Oh, Bamboo. That was bad. But Dark Troll Summoner claims a kill. It's better than giving it to the Naga Siren, but still. He lost gold for that, and that's just one of those situations where you just go, ugh. Just, ugh. Mirana pops her ultimate. Looks like they're going to go for the Nature's Prophet yet again. He's already decently away, though they did see him. The question is, will they find an actual CC combo? And they should pretty easily. There's the arrow. Easy stun, easy kill. As Jay, the stand-in, has done amazing so far. Just rotating around, finding kills, dominating the lane. He's 8-0-3, and the real hope for Zephyr this game. As it looks like Blitz going to be in a lot of trouble. Nice Clockwork hook. Keeps him alive for now, but there's the Naga song. It's going to be during the Jakiro Macro Pyre. But this is the problem with Jakiro Macro Pyre and the Wraith King combo. And Sexy Bamboo playing too good. That would have been an easy kill on Eosin had he just been the song not been stolen. But Blitz still going to go down. And Ogre Magi does pick up the kill on the Nature's Prophet, so 1 for 1. And now 2 for 1. His Nature's Prophet did teleport down bottom during that engagement to try and get some more split push, but not enough. As Zephyr just getting rocked in these team fights. And this should be yet another kill, as Mirana doesn't have a way to leap until just now, and she's already taken a ton of damage. She might be okay. She just throw the arrow out onto Kenneth. Kenneth's going to go down. And Mirana carrying this game with a godlike spree, 9-0-4. She should have gone down in that engagement, but she has just enough health for that Lincoln Sphere to survive. And these illusions trapping in Purge, and he is not a happy camper. Those illusions just do so much damage as he burns away. Don't think he's going to die to it, but the supports on the side of Zephyr just can't do a whole lot. And that's one of the good things about Ogre Magi is he does have a lot of base health and armor. He just doesn't have enough to really survive the Naga just rotating in with the illusions and constantly keeping them at 75-80% health so that you don't want to fight. That's the biggest thing about Naga in games like this, where you're trying to fight often. The Radiance makes it so every fight you're fighting with a bit of a health lead going in. Even if the enemy team's only at 90% health, that's still 10% less health you have to go through every single engagement. And Naga will be picking up the Boots of Travel, so not a bad timing. 21-minute Boots of Travel with the Radiance and the drums. I'm scared for Zephyr still. They've not shown an ability to keep the Shadow Fiend alive, and he's a mile off his next big item. He's gotten BKB, but BKB does not win games, especially when it's going to be very hard for him to keep up all his souls, as he's died in pretty much every single engagement this entire game. And Naga's only getting bigger quicker, as she has finally eclipsed the Mirana, as Mirana's was ahead for most of the game due to the fact she's picked up so many kills. It's been ridiculous. Illusions are going to come out and just continue to keep Shadow Fiend hurt. And this is exactly what Arcanys need to do the entire game. Just keep Shadow Fiend down, as Mirana won't be strong enough to carry this. She does not outclass a Naga. The one advantage Zephyr does have, though, Bloodlust, and it's getting big. 40 free attack speed on the Shadow Fiend, 40 free attack speed on the Mirana. That's going to be big, as Mirana goes for another engagement up top, but in this time, Bach is going to be very far away. He should have his Necronomicon coming out pretty soon, and that, I believe, is what's on the Courier. No, the Staff Wizardry. So he's still a ways away from it. Thought that was the whole thing, but no. He's still pretty poor. Not terribly so, but as he's almost up with the Shadow Fiend, but he just feels very poor considering he went Midas and had a pretty okay start until the rotations from Zephyr supports come in. And this is where the problem is for Zephyr. Naga Siren can just continually push out the lanes, and then as soon as they want to, group up as 5, and it's an easy tower. You can't really stop them. The towers don't help you because the Liquid Fire does so much damage on them. And it looks like Naga gonna go for Roshan. And this should be a pretty easy Rosh. at this point, as I just don't see any way to really stop it. And the liquid fire,
Dire's bottom tower
he's just so incredibly strong on him. Is another attack speed slow. He doesn't do much damage. They don't have any real minus armor. They've got Riptide, but I'm not even sure how much that actually affects Roshan. And Zephyr going to have to respond in the next few seconds, but they don't seem to be ready. Mirana has a teleport scroll, but you have to teleport to tier 3s. Sexy Bamboo does have one, but very far. And it's going to be Naga Siren picking up the Aegis. Nice hook and combo there by Clockwork, but just not in time. As Blitz is in even more trouble, forced to pop the BKB. He got off a good ultimate, but a good ultimate does not win a team fight unless it's perfect. And this is going to be Purge's death. Chop as he's taken out. And Naga Siren has a gem. This is scary for Zephyr. It's only 23 minutes in, and this looks very grim. They had a very good lane. They had a great start. They just couldn't keep it up. And that's just the downside of picking a Shadow Fiend. If he doesn't get off to a good start, he's crap. And that's what we've seen this game. He was punished every step of the way. As we see the Clockwork finally falling. Shadow Fiend does take down Nature's Prophet as he just right-clicked away. And Mirana gonna be in even more trouble. Naga burns the song for it, but might as well. As she gets chopped, and Naga takes 1,200 gold. So even faster farmed Naga. That must have been Nature's Prophet's plan all along. Feed the kills to Mirana. Let the Naga Siren eventually take it for a big gold boost. Next level gaming is the best way to put that. And this is gonna be Naga Siren picking up a Manta style, or she should have that up pretty soon, as that 1,000 or 1,200 gold was really useful. Though Zephyr did defend, they didn't lose racks, they didn't lose a tier 3 tower. They got the bottom one to about 2/3, middle one to half, and top one still fully standing, but they didn't lose them. And this means Shadow Fiend's gonna get bigger. Shadow Fiend does have Helm of the Dominator, so he's pretty survivable. And he's just getting more and more damage. If he gets Bloodlust, they might have a chance to turn this. That's going to be the key here, getting a good Bloodlust onto both Mirana and Shadow Fiend for the fight, and making sure Naga gets blown to bits with a Fire Blast. Not easy, but it's possible. One of the interesting things I don't see on the side of Zephyr is they aren't really building for magical damage. And we're going to see Nate picked off again in the bottom lane. Don't see any way he survives this. But nice force staff. And he does actually get away. That's pretty interesting that they didn't just go on him right away. They could have just walked in, popped the Requiem, at least gotten the slow, and gone from there. Nature's Prophet's not tanky enough. Question. And it looks like no one's going to go for this engagement bound bottom, with the exception of the Naga illusions, but whoop-de-doo on that. So it's going to be a failed gank by Zephyr. They had a good opportunity to pick off at least one, but instead they don't get anything. The Blitz just not confident enough that his Requiems of Souls would have been strong enough. And that's one of those situations where he just doesn't feel confident this game. If he would have gotten to a better start, he might have been confident enough to just go for it, but instead he plays it safe. Doesn't want to get caught out again, and that's just the real problem. He's kept up well with Naga in terms of actually farming. Same thing with Mirana, but the difference is in kills and where they're placed. Naga is 6-0-8. The big thing there, no deaths. Well, Shadow Fiend is 7 deaths already. Nice blink in, as this should be a pretty easy kill on the Ogre, but Purge nicely force-staffed away. Naga with the ultimate, and this should be some nasty setup, as it's going to be a Sexy Bamboo going down pretty quickly. Naga's going to fall. This is Zephyr's chance. Wraith King does go down. Mirana doing work on the back lines, but that's going to be a nice buyback. The question is, what will she accomplish? And an easy kill on the Mirana. Mirana's forced to buy back as well. And this is going to be the nothing. I don't think we're going to see Arcanys picking up anything, as the arrows just barely dodged. If that were me playing, that would have hit me somehow, as that looked like it should have hit. And Naga just continues to roll through. Mirana in a lot of trouble. She's just getting burned down by the Radiance and the Necro minions. Nice use of the ice path. And Naga Siren is hit, but disruption and not having cogs. Yosin goes down. He just got too greedy. Gem is dropped on the ground. And that has not been picked up yet. It's Jakiro picking it up. So it has been recovered. But without Clockwork, and I don't believe he has buyback, he does not. Nor does Rubick. Rubick's still very far away. Clockwork has it, but it's not going to be in time. And the first line of racks go to Arcanys, as they just do a great job. It's going to be Shadow Fiend in a lot of trouble. He has his BKB and finally gets it off. But Wraith King, a sliver away from 16, goes down. He didn't have his ultimate anyways, but still. You want to get that 16 at this point, just to make sure you have the super low cooldown on the ultimate. And a win by Arcanys. They didn't lose the Naga again. They forced pretty much everything they could, and they picked up the racks. So big win overall. And Zephyr's just not in a very good spot. They haven't been this entire game. Outside of Jay just doing a great job of farming and making things happen on the Nature's Prophet. But just keeping the Nature's Prophet down doesn't mean much when he's done a great job of just running around, buying space for the rest of his team. And despite being pretty much every single death on his side, it's worth it. All those deaths are worth it, considering how much space he bought and how much time Mirana couldn't be ganking the Naga Siren, how much time she couldn't be rotating around, how much time Sexy Bamboo spent ganking him as well. You're ganking a Nature's Prophet instead of a Naga Siren. That's just a bad decision overall. As free as those kills were, it was just a bad overall game decision. This should be one of the final push for Arcanys, as there's still a fair bit of time left on Roshan before he actually respawns. I don't foresee him being waited for at this point, outside of just a desperation move by Zephyr. And we're going to see a kill on the Nature's Prophet yet again. No way he gets out of this, but it's one of those situations. Space created. Big space created. As they trade Nature's Prophet for a tier 3 tower and the BKB on Shadow Fiend. Yes, please. Song is popped. And the BKB shows its big downside, as this should be an easy kill. Mirana takes a ton of damage from that Macro Pyre. Naga's still alive, though, out of mana. She has a bottle at this point, so she should be good to go. And with that, Nature's Prophet buys back. Shadow Fiend does not have buyback. Nice multicast of the Wraith King, but he has already popped his ultimate. So if they can kill him, that'll be pretty big in this engagement, but I don't think they can. Clockwork Cogs saving the Wraith King there. He eventually goes down, but too late. Melee racks the mid lane taken. Nature's Prophet did buy back for this, but still, space created. Saves the Naga Siren and the Shadow Demon, the big ones in this. So all game long, space created by the Nature's Prophet. And if he didn't pick up the 4 kills, he'd be a good contender for the Melk Award this game. Just being insanely useful to his team while throwing his life away at pretty much every situation. And it looks like Rubick got killed to the illusions in the mid lane. Just away. Bamboo had such a good start, but not able to keep it up. He's done decently, but Rubick does not carry well enough in a game like this. Same thing with Mirana. She needed to get off to an amazing start and rotate, but so far has just not been able to rotate at all. She's come to some of these engagements now. It's just not enough. Zephyr just not looking polished. They don't have a good priority system, seems to be the case to me. This game, they played well individually, but they didn't prioritize properly. They prioritized shutting down the Nature's Prophet, not protecting the Shadow Fiend. Then they prioritized making sure that the supports on Arcanys didn't get a whole lot, but still, Shadow Fiend fell, Naga Siren got free farm. And even when they did try and gank the Naga Siren, Arcanys were always there with their supports just ready to go. In every single one of those engagements, it felt like the supports from Arcanys just walked in, turned it around, and gave Naga or Shadow Demon kill, as they've really done well. Naga's died once this game. One death. You have to shut her down more than that. It's just one of those situations where that has to be good gameplay at number one against any Naga team, and Zephyr didn't do that. As we do see what should be the final push. I don't see Zephyr able to hold this unless they just get a perfect ult by the Shadow Fiend, but I don't see him able to go in. Naga's almost out of mana. The ultimate will be popped, but what does it accomplish? And it accomplishes jack diddly squat other than a little bit of damage. Naga ult is turned around, but whoop-de-doo, that might mean they get a kill on the support, as Shadow Demon's gonna go down. But with just Shadow Demon falling and a beautiful zoning macro pyre, this should be the death of Sexy Bambo. 1 for 1, but no, he does blink, though the blink doesn't save him forever, as he will get chopped down eventually. Naga under a bit of trouble, but Houston goes in way too far, and Naga claims yet another kill, as this should be game. Mirana is forced to run away. Nature's Prophet sacrificing him again. Space created. And this should be the death of Shadow Fiend. No, nice force staff there by Purge, getting it just in time to save him, but a little too late, as he just does not have the damage. Naga does take a hit, so she could fall, and at least by a little time, but beautiful ice path. Hits just about everyone, and Wraith King gonna fall, but he hadn't burned his ultimate yet. Blinks away, and not far enough, though he does turn around, as there's another beautiful ice path, and the Naga buyback. So good game in favor of Arcanys. Just doing a great job against Zephyr. Zephyr not looking polished. And it wouldn't surprise me if they go into the next game just not feeling it. They had a good lineup. They just couldn't execute overall. It's a priority that's just, their priority system just doesn't seem on point at the moment. As Blitz in a bit of trouble, he's forced to pop the BKB, but he's purged up. Ultimate does hit Jakiro, but whoop-de-doo, you hit a Jakiro. Naga's gonna go down again, or maybe not. She gets mech'd up just in time, and that's everyone from Zephyr down. Mega creeps out, and good game in favor of Arcanys. Zephyr just not on point with their priorities. I know I've said that about 10 times now, but that's just how this game felt. They prioritized shutting down the Nature's Prophet, but shutting down the Nature's Prophet is not priority number one against this team with a Naga Siren. And that will be Arcanys taking it pretty heavily. It looked close towards the mid-game as Mirana snowballed, but just not enough against the Naga Siren. Welcome everyone to the Keys of the Game, where we watch some of the highlights and big turning points in the game we just watched. First key to the game comes in as Sexy Bambo spots out Jakiro and the Shadow Demon. He does a good job of lifting up Job Easy, and Purge comes it perfectly well with a fireball, and this becomes an easy first blood, as there's just no way for him to escape this combination. Platypus stays and tries to help out, but he just gets himself killed in the situation. It's a nice rundown where Sexy Bambo gets to do just a little bit, but not enough, considering he went boots first, and he's far faster than the Shadow Demon in this case. It's another perfect combination that sets Zephyr up for some amazing lanes. Second key to the game comes in as Purge and Bambo want to go on the Naga Siren. She's overextended, but has support this time, as both the supports for Arcanys have respawned. You get a beautiful disruption, preventing additional damage from Rubick, and they're able to take him down really quickly. Purge is also in a lot of trouble, as he just has nowhere to go, and this gives a ton of extra experience to the Naga Siren and a bunch of gold, which really helps Arcanys come back from the failure at First Blood. The next key to the game comes in right as the bottle comes in for Shadow Fiend. Blitz does a good job getting his bottle, but he overextends the courier and gets it killed. Naga does an excellent job of kiting, and tower aggro is traded perfectly, which leads to an easy kill on Blitz. Though the Nature's Prophet does sacrifice himself, Bach is okay with that. You pick up a ton of experience for the Naga, you kill the courier, and you get Shadow Fiend. He does keep his bottle, but this just shows that he's a pretty vulnerable target throughout most of the game. The next key to the game comes in as Zephyr setting a trap, for Arcanys. The question is, who is the trap really set for? Bog comes in and suicides, but he takes a lot with him and allows Naga Siren to set up with a beautiful Song. Song is not perfectly placed as it allows Mirana to escape, but Naga picks up 1 kill, and Henrich just continues to dominate, as there's just nothing that stops him in these engagements. Sexy Bamboo did buy back, but it's just not enough, as Naga picks up yet another kill. And in this engagement, 2 kills. She was close to Radiance before, but she's almost able to pick it up off just those few kills. And all that gold lost on the side of Zephyr is just getting critical at this point, as they don't have the ability to make a comeback unless they start finding good engagements. The next key to the game comes in as Wraith King jumps in and does some big damage on Purge. He's forced out of the fight without doing a whole lot, and Naga Siren then comes in with a beautiful setup. Jakiro is able to force staff over and make sure Sexy Bamboo gets absolutely rocked. Naga will fall. Same thing with the Wraith King, but Naga's able to buy back and rejoin this engagement rather quickly. Bach will be able to get out, and Mirana just overextends herself trying to pick off those last few kills. It's a good idea, but Shadow Demon Jakiro is just way too powerful of a support combination. Mirana has bought back, but everyone on Arcanys has basically recovered thanks to buybacks and being able to jump right back into this engagement with Nature's Prophet. He takes a lot of damage, but it's just not enough. And this tower is eventually just getting whittled away, as there's just nothing Zephyr can do about it. The tower eventually falls, but at no real cost to Arcanys. They lost the Naga and they lost the Naga buyback, but no big deal, as she goes on to clean this fight up as Clockwork overextends, and they just are able to take the racks without significant casualties. And this shows the great play of Arcanys supports, always seeming to be on point. They're able to kill Rubick. A Sexy Bamboo is down again as he was forced to buy back, I believe, a few moments ago. And it just gets worse from here, as they don't have any answers to the Naga Siren, and there's super supports coming out from Arcanys. Zephyr does mount a decent defense, able to kill the Wraith King in the end, but whoop-de-doo. As the chase goes on, they're not able to pick up anything else, and that just spells the end for Zephyr. They had to get more after losing the racks, as they didn't get very much for it in the first place. Thank you for watching this Gamecast by Pander. If you wish to see more, please check out my YouTube and Twitch links below. Thank you again for watching.